She still remembers the day he held her hands and made the promise. Not in a grand hall, not with violins playing in the background, just the two of them sitting on a wooden bench outside her father's house, dust rising softly in the evening breeze. I will do everything properly, he had said, squeezing her fingers. Traditional rites, registry, white wedding. I want you to be proud to be my wife. She had smiled shyly. I want it done right, before God, before everyone. He had laughed gently. It will be perfect. She believed him. When she went to the registry to fix a date for their court marriage, her heart danced the entire way home. She imagined signing the document in a quiet office, her name now tied to his forever. But when she told him the date, he waved it off casually. We don't need to rush that, he said. We'll sign everything in court on the white wedding day. It will be more meaningful. She hesitated, but I already took a date. It's the same thing, he insisted. Trust me. And she did. The traditional marriage was beautiful. Her village came alive with music and laughter. Elders prayed over them. Her family handed her over with tears and blessings. She knelt respectfully. He smiled proudly. For a moment, everything felt aligned. But joy can be fragile. On their way back from the ceremony, his family's car collided with a truck. 3 lives were lost. The news shattered both families. The white wedding was postponed indefinitely. Mourning consumed his household. Black clothes replaced white lace. Hymns of celebration turned into funeral songs. She sat quietly in her room the night she heard the news. This isn't how it was supposed to happen, she whispered to herself. Weeks turned into months. The white wedding never came. Reluctantly, she moved into his house. She had always dreamed of walking down the aisle in white before sharing a bed with him. She had guarded her virginity for that sacred night. But now, everything felt suspended. One evening, she gathered the courage to speak. Will we still have the church wedding? She asked softly. He stared blankly ahead. Can't you see what happened to my family? Do you want people to think we're celebrating while they are dead? Her voice trembled. I'm not saying now, just someday. He didn't answer. Years passed. 3 children were born. Bright, beautiful souls who called her mama and wrapped their tiny arms around her neck every evening. She built her business from scratch, catering jobs, late night cooking, early mornings delivering food. Her hands smelled constantly of spices and hard work. The house ran because of her. He drifted, and then the accusations began. You brought bad luck into this family, he snapped one night. She froze. What? Ever since you came, my family has suffered. Her heart pounded. The accident happened because of a reckless driver. He slammed his hand against the table. You don't know that. It became a pattern. Every argument circled back to the same poison. You're evil. Your family is evil. You cost me 3 relatives. She stopped defending herself after a while. There was only so many times a person can scream innocence before their voice breaks. One afternoon, she overheard his mother whispering to a relative. She came with darkness. The words burned deeper than any insult he had thrown. Despite everything, she clung to one anchor, her faith. They were Christians. They prayed together once. He used to lead devotion in the living room. He used to say, "What God has joined together." But when their pastor confronted him gently about his treatment of her, something shifted. You went to report me? He accused her that evening. I didn't. Pastor just noticed. I'm not going back to that church again, he snapped. Let them mind their business. And he stopped attending. She kept going alone, sitting in the pew with her children, feeling like half of her life was missing. The day she found out about the second wife, the world didn't explode. It just went very quiet. She saw the messages first: plans, conversations, family discussions, approval. She waited until the children were asleep before confronting him. "You're preparing to marry another woman?" He didn't deny it. "My family agrees," he said flatly. Her chest tightened. "We are Christians." "So?" "So?" Her voice cracked. "You promised me one wife before God." He shrugged. "Things change." Tears streamed down her face. "What about me? What about our children?" "I'm still their father. You can't build happiness by breaking me," she whispered. He looked away. That night, she didn't sleep. She watched her children breathe softly in the dark. She thought about the girl she used to be, the one who dreamed of white dresses and sacred vows. She thought about the promise on the wooden bench. She thought about the word evil echoing in her ears. And for the first time in 6 years, she asked herself a forbidden question. What if staying is not strength? The next morning, her daughter climbed into her lap. "Mama, why are you crying?" She forced a smile. "Sometimes grown-ups cry too." "Did Daddy make you cry?" She swallowed hard. Children see more than we think. Days later, she sat across from him again. "If you marry another wife," she said quietly, "I will not stay." He laughed dryly. "Where will you go?" She held his gaze. "I have built my business. I can stand." He studied her as if seeing her for the first time. "You will break this home?" "No," she said firmly. "You are the one breaking it." Silence filled the room. His family's hostility intensified when they heard her stance. She would be grateful he still keeps her, one aunt said. "She has 3 children. Who else will marry her?" another added. But something inside her had awakened. Not anger, not revenge, just clarity. One Sunday after service, she lingered behind to speak with the pastor. "I don't want my children to grow up without their father," she said through tears. "But I don't want them to grow up watching their mother disrespected either." The pastor listened carefully. "Sometimes," he said gently, "the most powerful lesson you can teach your children is what you refuse to tolerate." Those words settled into her spirit. That evening, she gathered her children around the small dining table. "Mama loves you very much," she began. "And no matter what happens, that will never change." Her eldest looked confused. "Is Daddy leaving?" She paused. "I don't know what Daddy will choose, but Mama will always choose peace." She stopped arguing. She stopped begging. She focused on her business, expanded it, hired 2 assistants. The house felt different, lighter somehow. He noticed. "You think you're independent now?" he scoffed one day. "I am," she replied calmly. There was no bitterness in her voice, just truth. The day he announced formally that he intended to take a second wife, she didn't scream, she didn't collapse, she simply packed a suitcase. He watched in disbelief. "You're serious?" "Yes." "You will take my children?" "Our children," she corrected. "And you can see them, but I will not share my marriage." For the first time, uncertainty flickered across his face. At the door, she paused. "I was never evil," she said softly. "I loved you. I honored you. I built with you. If you couldn't see that, that is not my curse to carry." He said nothing. Stepping outside felt terrifying and freeing. She didn't know what the future held. She didn't know if he would change his mind or proceed with a new marriage. But she knew something deeper. Her worth was not defined by his grief. Her value was not erased by tragedy, and her children deserved a mother who stood tall. Sometimes, love means fighting. Sometimes love means forgiving. And sometimes love means walking away from what is breaking you. As she drove towards her sister's house that evening, her children in the back seat, she whispered a quiet prayer. God, restore what was lost. But if not, give me the strength to build again. And for the first time in years, she felt peace. If you were in her shoes, what would you choose? Would you stay for the children? Or would you leave to show them what dignity looks like? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Truly, the question is, what should she do? It'd be nice to know what you think about this. What should she do? Being in a very hard place is not a delightful experience, but then good counsel could always help. This was her decision. What would you have done if you were in her shoes? Please leave your comments in the comment section. To be nice to hear our thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Yes, we get to get one another thinking. That'll be lovely also. Thank you, people. Have a blessed day. This is Olubumi Adewale Babatunde.